What's up, everyone? We're back at the more Great Ace Attorney, Case 2. And after a whole day of waiting, let's see how loopy this man is after hanging his head upside down for a whole day. You've noticed the man too, have you? No idea who he is or how he got in here, but he looks suspicious and tall. Suspiciously tall. How can you tell he's tall when he's in a position like that? Naruhodo-san, don't tell me. Do you really not know who that is? Well, no, I don't have any foreign friends or acquaintances at all. He doesn't look like a member of the crew. There's something very unusual about him. Like I said, he's been hanging his head upside down for over a day. He's probably very unusual by now. Is he investigating Kazuma's desk, or is he just playing on it? I can't tell. Well, in that case, we simply must talk with him. Am I just imagining it, or does Sato-san look almost uncontrollably excited? By the way, I expect that you've noticed already, but just in case, if you press space on people when they're in the crosshairs, you can converse with them. Alright then. I'll get that suspiciously tall gentleman in my sights and see what he has to say for himself. Oh, please do. Okay, there's stuff I want to do first, though. Wait, no. Wait, no. Shoot. Okay, but what if? What if I do this instead? When I went for help and the crewman forced the door open, this bolt had been firmly closed. It's quite a small bolt and not particularly sturdy, and it just slides across to secure the door shut. But still, with the door bolted, there would be no way to get in or out of the cabin, that's for sure. It's no wonder everyone suspects me. When she glares at me like that, I feel tense all up and down my spine. I remember reading once in a detective novel. The culprit used a needle and thread to draw a bolt across from it outside the room in a situation like this. Yes, that's a clever trick, isn't it? I'm an avid reader of detective stories myself. But the door of this cabin and its frame are made of metal, and they seal together perfectly. There would be no possibility of using that needle and thread trick here, I'm afraid. When she glares at me like that, I feel pins and needles all up and down my spine. Damn it, I was about to make a needle-related joke about her staring daggers or staring needles at you. Man. Damn it, I wanted to present my frickin' thing to Susato. What if I talk to you instead? Perhaps I should see what this Russian crewmate makes of the scene of the crime. Excuse me. What? I was wondering how it's going. The investigation, I mean. Grandmother told me Japanese people do not make jokes. But this is not true, I see. Sorry? The criminal asked an investigator for information about his crime? Very funny. Oh, it wasn't supposed to be a joke. He doesn't appear to be laughing either. He's convinced you're guilty. Well, that makes you have something in common with him, Susato. You might have useful information, though. I have to keep trying. So, last night, did you notice anything out of the ordinary at all? Yet, of course not. Now back to corner of room and make silent. Okay, jeez, no need to be so rude about it. I say no more to you. Did I hit a nerve? Probably. Just for a minute there, he seemed a little flustered. Alright, let's talk to you. Excuse me. Excuse me, do you have a moment? Shh! This is a critical point in my investigation. Maybe I should leave him alone. He seems a little unfriendly. Yes, perhaps that would be for the best. Greetings, I hope I haven't kept you long. Ah! Ah! What exactly were you doing on Cosmo's desk just now? This man got the drip. This is like peak outfit design right here, not gonna lie. It all fits together so well. The colors, the belt, just everything about this screams perfection. Ah, I see. Fascinating. Sorry, what do you see? Feels like he's looking right through me. Oh yes, everything is clear now. The train of reasoning has run its course. My deductions have crystallized. You have been in Afghanistan, I perceive. Just recently returned, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry? What? And now, whilst venturing toward foreign climes, you find yourself in a most troubling predicament. Oh, well that's true at least. But how? How the deuce did I know that, perhaps? It was really a most elementary deduction, hardly worth explaining. Have you perhaps managed to deduce anything else? But of course, a great many things. There is no mystery, my dear madam. For example, you have fled from native land of Russia, being as you are a merciless revolutionary. You have 16 victims of assassination in your wake, and now travel to England to blow up the Crystal Tower. And when the Bourbon's occupant of this very cabin discovered your identity, you ended his life too. Yes, I believe that summarizes the facts beautifully. No need to hide the truth now. Nothing deceives these eyes. Just to be clear, you are talking about me, are you? Certainly I am. Do you see another in this cabin who fits the bill? A Russian assassin with 16 victims to his name? I don't even see one person who fits the bill. This man's poses, they give me life. So it's true. It was you who did this to Kazuma-sama. What? And you're plotting a revolution, too. It's shameful behavior, Naruhodo-san. Absolutely wicked. No, listen. There's no way Hiya! This is the third time I've been thrown today. I'm not into this. Now explain yourself. Tell me everything. This is ridiculous. The music. How could you do it? For pity's sake, open your eyes. I'm not a Russian revolutionary, obviously. Oh, forgive me. And as for you, what kind of deduction was that? You were just saying the first thing that came into your head. Ah, but was I not right? Whilst venturing towards foreign climes, you do find yourself in a most troubling predicament, do you not? Well, yes, maybe. Ha! There you have it, you see. What do you make of that? Well, to be honest, the ship is en route to England, and I'm in handcuffs at the scene of a murder. So, I'm not really sure you could call it a deduction. It's more plain observation. Indeed, an observation, my dear boy, is the basis of all deduction. My method is founded upon the observation of trifles, you see. I announce my findings with a brassy certitude. And more often than not, I'm right. I don't think you introduced yourself. Ah, my apologies. How remiss of me. I am none other than the greatest detective of the century, known to men and women the world over. The inimitable Sherlock Sholmes. I instinctively called him by... Oh no. Oh no. The inimitable Herlock Sholmes. Excuse me, I don't know what that first part of my name that I said before was. So, it's really you, the actual Herlock Sholmes. The very same. The inimitable, actual Herlock Sholmes. Do you know this man, Susato-san? The most famous detective in the world, Naruhodo-san? Of course I do. There's no one who hasn't heard of him. What planet have I been living on, then? Jupiter, because apparently you've been getting stupider. Also, this music is frickin' banging, yo. Do-da, 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 do-da. Let's see. You know, the name Herlock Sholmes is actually fitting for this dude so far. He seems... he seems a bit, whack job in the head compared to regular Sherlock. We must ask him what he's deduced. He will have worked out the entire case already, I'm sure. Really? Why do I feel uneasy about this? Okay. Well, I could speak to you, but what if I do this? Mr. Sholmes, what do you make of this? Shh! Quiet! When I'm ruminating in the course of my deductions, nothing must disturb my mind. Oh, so sorry. Ah! An Indian curry, perhaps. What's he ruminating about? The lunch menu? Well then. Alright, time to speak. Round one. Great detective. Kazuma's death. What you were just investigating. So, you're a great detective, are you? Sorry, what was your name again? Indeed, I am none other than the one and only Herlock Sholmes. Oh, I see. You're German? Herlock, was it? No, I have no hair. I mean, I have hair. Please call me Sholmes. You can read all about my exploits in this exciting London publication. Sponsored by the London Bureau. The London Brochure. Yes, Rand's Magazine, that one. Full of wonderful short stories and interest articles from Great Britain. I never miss an issue. I have it sent from England especially. Yes, here it is. The Adventures of Herlock Sholmes. So, you're the protagonist in a series of short stories, then? Indeed I am. And you've read so many of your own stories, you've started to think you really are a detective. Make no mistake, I'm not the poor deluded fellow you take me for. Your inference is backward. Backward? My trusty biographer records my greatest detecting achievements and chronicles them in the magazine. You have a biographer, do you? Doesn't everyone? Mine goes by the name of Dr. Wilson. Presently keeping shop in London. Yeah, about Dr. Wilson. Dr. Wilson? Well then, this is awkward. I must say, thanks to that publication, I've been fantastically busy of late. Why, this very moment I am returning from Asia, having solved the mystery of a cursed royal crown. Really? I can't work out whether I should take this man seriously or not. Yeah, me neither. Deduction, you see, is to me a science. Logical reasoning in its purest form. A science? Really? The astute observer notices even the most subtle of reactions in his subject. A furtive glance, a twitch of a muscle, a slight inclination of the posture. Fingernails, arm sleeves, furrows in the skin, all these things are data. Right. And the trained logician makes deductions from this data in the blink of an eye. The ultimate conclusion is, without fail, the truth. As I demonstrated only a few short moments ago. I love that hat flip. Cool animation. How can he look me in the eye and claim that? So you see, I have a turn both for observation and for deduction. And fame. That is what makes me the one and only Herlock Sholmes. This dude is a clown and I love him, honestly. Have you managed to deduce anything about this particular case yet? Have I managed to deduce anything, my dear fellow? Who do you suppose discovered the culprit in his most cunning hiding place? That's right. It was none other than the great detective before you now, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. I see. In other words, I'm in these now because of him. When I became anxious about Kazuma-sama this morning, I summoned all of the crew members to force the cabin door open. And I concealed myself among their number, gaining an entry to the scene of the crime. Yes, luckily for everyone, the great detective Herlock Sholmes was on board. And the handcuffs seemed to be an excellent fit, Mr. Naruhodo. The very moment I laid eyes on the scene, two facts were immediately apparent to me. Oh really? Two facts, you say? Mr. Sholmes, tell us, please. What two facts were apparent to you when you came into the cabin this morning? Ah, yes, but first, let us be precise. The two facts in question were immediately apparent to me. Yes, I understand, but what were they? Allow me to elucidate. The two facts that I deduced from a mere momentary glance at the scene of the crime were as follows. Number 1, the cabin was locked from within, rendering escape of the culprit out of the question. Number 2, the victim was Russian and killed following a dispute with an acquaintance. Hold on, Mr. Sholmes, what made you think the victim was Russian? Observe the dying message left by the victim on the floor. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. That is the Russian word for wardrobe. Do you really think Kazuma-sama could have left a dying message in Russian? In their final moments, many find their native tongue filling their head. For this young man, Russian. Kazuma was Russian, was he? Initially, I considered Gardero may be the name of the killer. A certain Robert Gard, perhaps. But in the interest of thoroughness, I decided it would be wrong not to look inside the wardrobe there at least. Where you found Mr. Naruhodo sleeping soundly. Quite so. I found you, the renowned Russian revolutionary killer. Why is it that I'm Russian too? I observed that you were wearing the same attire as the victim. In other words, you were acquainted. And if my memory serves, that outfit is the traditional dress of the Russian people. Our school uniforms are the traditional dress of the Russian people? I had no idea. And I had no idea a detective could get something so wrong. I took a photograph of the victim in the message, that I might analyze it for possible hidden details. And music's gone. This was taken immediately after the young man was discovered, before the body was removed. Yes, Cosmo had already been taken away when I woke up. This is the first time I've actually seen him like this. Must be a big shock for Ryunosuke. Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, yes. Thank you. Okay. Can I ask you something, Mr. Sholmes? What, pray? You mentioned Russian before as well, didn't you? You know, when you said I was a fearsome revolutionary fleeing from Russia and all that. Ah, yes, the train of reasoning that led me to the truth. Would you mind explaining that train of reasoning to me, do you think? Certainly, if it interests you. How many times... I'm not Russian and I don't speak Russian. Can we talk about your deduction before? The things you concluded about me, I mean. Ah, the now famously accurate, troubling predicament you find yourself in. Actually, it was the other details that I was more hoping to discuss. You know, the merciless Russian revolutionary and assassin of 16 part. Ah, yes, the more sordid details. It was a fairly commonplace deduction. Here we have this morning's paper. The main headline reads... Revolutionary villain Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. Well, I see the pun in the name because of the villain. This vessel made a port call at Shanghai yesterday, and last night the young Russian was murdered. Since when was Cosmo Russian? It sounds like Mr. Sholmes has concluded he was Russian because of what Kazuma-sama wrote on the floor. It was a simple act of reasoning to realize that the culprit of this crime was the same merciless revolutionary. One who had killed the very man who helped him to escape after his true identity was discovered. Yes, you, villain Bolshevik. No, how can it be me? I don't look anything like this man, just look at his face. Well, you are a fearsome revolutionary after all. Therefore, you have no doubt learned to revolutionize your appearance as well. Please. And I might add, your name does not appear on the ship's passenger list. Need I say more? Well, that's because I'm a stowaway. What about the other details? The 16 victims of assassination and blowing up the Crystal Tower. Ah yes, the journalist clearly interviewed the man and printed all those particulars in the article. The deeds the man has perpetuated thus far and those he is plotting. Yes, everything about this revolutionary Bolshevik was included. There can be no mistake. Do revolutionaries usually agree to interviews with newspaper reporters, I wonder? And what about the part where he said I was just returning from Afghanistan? Also quite clearly stated in the article. Bolshevik is recently returned after a period of subversive activities in a war-torn region of Afghanistan. Where even is it, anyway? This Afghanistan place. Here, take the paper for yourself, as a little memento of this great deduction. Oh, thank you. I've absorbed all that is of interest to me within its pages, but I see no rubbish bin nearby. Okay. And you may find the article on the back page of interest as well. On the back? Cast your eye over it sometime if the interest takes you, though you may need someone to interpret. It's all written in Russian. I couldn't hope to read it. But I suppose it wouldn't hurt just to glance at the article. Maybe there might be a picture or two. Alright, well let's check it right now, shall we? Not much else better to do. Trying to see if there's anything. I wonder. This looks like... I wonder if this is edited in any way. I don't know. I mean, it is written in Russian, but it kind of looks like it was edited almost. Mostly this letter here. Like the last one looks like it was like a 5 that got turned into a 6 maybe or something. I don't know. Hello. This is interesting. Have you found something relevant, Naruhodo-san? Well, no, I mean, it looks like it might be interesting. I can't read a single word, I'm afraid. No, nor can I. But look at this picture. Perhaps this is about a beautiful young Russian princess, do you think? She is very pretty, isn't she? I suppose you enjoy articles like this, do you? I don't know. I can't make any sense of it. Ah, I'm glad you noticed this article. Ah! Allow me to give you a short summary of its contents. Oh, thank you. Pops up everywhere, this Mr. Sholmes. It's about the disappearance of a young lady last night. Renowned prima ballerina of the Novovish Ballet disappears from Shanghai. During a performance in Shanghai, the famous dancer was reported missing. Man, I can't wait for that to come into play. She is, of course, the talented young Nikolina Pavlova. Why are Russian names so hard to remember? It would appear the woman was in costume when she was found and missing from her dressing room, wearing the diamond tiara you see pictured, which is worth some 20,000 rubles. Oh, how much is 20,000 rubles? I have no idea, but I'm quite sure it must be an unbelievable sum of money. Sato-san's eyes are shining like diamonds themselves. The tiara is the property of the Novovish Ballet. It would seem the director is beside herself with worry. Yes, I'm not surprised. The company is most anxious to recover both Miss Pavlova and the valuable tiara. They've requested international assistance at all ports with sailings to Great Britain. Could this be another case of a Russian fleeing his or her country? It does seem to be the Russian thing to do. I'm not even gonna dignify that with a response, Mr. Naruhodo. Well then. Got it updated. And the last thing we gotta talk about. Before he started talking, you were examining Kazuma's desk, weren't you? Kazuma? Ah, yes, the victim. Did you notice anything useful? Anything at all? Observe for a moment the desktop of the victim. We see that the victim was engaged in penning some text. London Diary. Cosmo's keeping notes of the trip. Ah, but I don't think you should read his private writings. It could upset people. looks at Susato. Tragic. And something you ought to perhaps elucidate before the act of reading. You mean you've read it already? It is my business to know what other people do not. Yes, believe it or not, I know a smattering of Japanese. Oh, I see. Well, you're about to know what a Susato takedown is. Susato-san? Aren't you gonna throw the detective with one of your trademark takedowns? I'm sorry, Naruhodo-san. What on earth do you mean? Life is so unfair. I know, man. Anyway, to return to the matter at hand, namely this diary belonging to the victim. It would appear the final sentence is incomplete, as if the author were cut short, as it were. Tell me, what is the nature of the writing? Pray be precise as to details. Oh, but I thought you knew Japanese. A smattering, dear boy, a smattering. Sayonara, bonsai, mikado, nado. I trust you're suitably impressed. But this diary is littered with complicated-looking characters, of which I can read precisely none. Damn, I can't believe I know more Japanese than Herlock Sholmes. I feel so honored. Look at that laughing face. So what was all that showing off about before then? If you would be so kind as to show me, I would be happy to read it to you, Mr. Sholmes. I'm much obliged, my dear madam. The final entry here in Kazuma-sama's diary consists of just 2 short sentences. The first reads, 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. A whistling sound? These are very deep waters. Pray, go on. The second sentence reads, 1:35 a.m. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. Speckled bands? What on earth does that mean? I have no idea. I've never heard that expression before. The ventilator grill, you say? The man was presumably referring to the lattice there on the wall, which connects to the adjoined cabin. Yes, the adjoining cabin. Kazuma's diary has been entered into the court record. Well then. So, I believe I've given you enough to consider for the time being, at least. Ah, do you have somewhere to go? As it happens, the victim's writings in his diary have piqued my interest. The matter warrants further investigation, I believe. And if I am still too long, the seasickness takes hold. Oh, I suppose. You're thinking of investigating the cabin next door, which the ventilator connects to. Great detectives are a curious breed. Our minds rebel at stagnation. We crave mental exhalation. So yes, I intend to investigate. Hence the truth will become clear soon enough. Do you think perhaps we could go with you? No, that would be somewhat complicated. What? But why? A simple glance at your wrist should reveal the answer. They gotta make use of this animation as much as they can. Oh, these. After all, you're the prime suspect in this matter. No. There's no point trying to turn it into a question. You're the one who decided I was the culprit in the first place. Whatever do you mean? I have no recollection of naming you as the culprit at any point. You must be joking. You just said it only a moment ago. Dear me, you are clearly misguided. I would have no cause to say such a thing. Well, actually, Mr. Sholmes, I did hear you say that too. You're quite sure? Well, that's very strange. I wouldn't have said you had the face of a criminal, you know. Not really. So what, were you looking at my knees before? Some great detective you are. Well, anyway, that was then and this is now. What do you mean? What I mean, sir, is this. If you are the culprit, then you must play the part more convincingly. Roll over and accept your fate. Ha 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 ha! Now he's just being plain rude. Did he just leave, just like that? And off he goes, having just laughed in my face. His sense of humor is as twisted as his name. Twisted as his name. Man, that is very funny. I can't tell if that was part of the original script or they did that because of they had to change the name due to localization. Naruhodo-san, what are you just standing there for? We must go and investigate the cabin next door as well. Are you forgetting something? What about these? There's no way I can... Hiya! This is the 4th time I've been thrown in less than an hour. After Kazuma-sama spent his dying moments struggling to leave us a clue, you're willing to give up? You're just gonna roll over and accept your fate? Ugh, as if he gave me any choice in the rolling over part. I think we still have some investigating to finish off in here first, don't we? Let's carry on examining what we can in this cabin while we wait for a chance to slip next door. Good idea. The situation doesn't look good for me, but there are still things I can do to help myself. And I owe it to Kazuma to do everything I can to find a way out of this, and bring the real culprit to justice. Please let me talk to Susato. Is that... something wrong, Naruhodo-san? Oh no, it's just that crewman standing by the door. I can't help feeling like I've seen him somewhere before. Oh my god, it is him, isn't it? Satoru... something, wasn't it? Oh yes, you're right. He does look familiar. Excuse me, sir. Yes, what can I do for you? I knew it. I recognize that face, but it can't be. Oh boy. It is! I didn't know you were here, Inspector Hosonaga. Hello again. What are you doing here? I think that should be my line. I was so stunned when I saw you, my heart stopped. Nearly stopped, I hope. I received some special orders to go undercover as a member of the crew and board this ship. Again? You certainly seem to enjoy undercover work, Inspector. If there's anything I can do to help you, please ask. I never expected to see this man on board, but perhaps his presence can help me out of this hopeless situation. Okay, but first... Inspector, can I show you this? What the... Is that a fabled Imperial Yume University pin badge? I'm not sure if it's really fabled exactly, but... So, you're a genuine student then? Sorry? Nothing like me with my regular schedule, with my regular schooling. You're something much greater. Is that what you were trying to say? Can I have my badge back, please? Always gotta go for the funnies. Let's see if there's anything else we can examine in here. I doubt it. Wonder if we can move. Can't just roll over and accept my fate. I have to find a way out of this cabin. Okay. So what are your special orders this time, Inspector? Sorry, I was getting a drink, so I just decided not to read that line. I'm so sorry. This is all my fault. I take full responsibility. For what? My orders were to act as Asogi-san's bodyguard. What? Oh. It was Minister of Justice Jigoku who pushed for this overseas study tour to go ahead. And he entrusted me with ensuring that Asogi-san reached Great Britain without being assassinated. Assassinated? How? How could that even been a possibility? I'm not sure. But these are complicated times. There are tensions between the world's greatest powers. Minister Jigoku said we should be prepared for all eventualities. This is incredible. I don't believe it. Kazuma-sama was assassinated? Obviously, we couldn't give Asogi-san a visible security escort. Which is why I'm undercover now, posing as one of the crew. And I didn't take my eyes off him the entire time we've been on board, from morning until night every day. But I never imagined it would happen here, inside his own cabin, not here on the first-class deck. I feel like I'm slowly backing off on the accent I gave the inspector. Solely because because I realize, maybe I shouldn't be giving accents to the characters that, aren't from Britain. I failed miserably at my assignment, and Asogi-san is dead as a result. I'm a disgrace. All I can do is humbly apologize. Inspector. So if there's anything at all I can do now to help you, just say the word. You're a good guy. We're doing what we can to investigate Kazuma's death ourselves. I thought you might be. You didn't do it, did you? You're not the killer. Of course not. We'd really like to investigate the cabin next door. Yes, so we need to be allowed out of this cabin. I'm sorry. What? You've been deemed a risk to the ship's safety. If you move to even touch the handle of the cabin door, that stormy-looking seaman there would surely snap your neck in two. I suppose I'm not just a stowaway now. They think I'm a murderer as well. Would it be possible to give me something to work with, do you think? I'm gonna need something persuasive. What do you mean? If I had a solid reason why the next door cabin should be investigated, for example, I'd do everything I could to persuade the captain to allow it. Really, I'd lay my life on the line if I had to. But I don't see how... There may be a way. What, really? Think of how you tried to persuade me of your innocence, Naruhodo-san. By presenting me with a piece of evidence you already had in your possession. Evidence. It's just the same as when you were in court. You must have done it many times during your trial. Simply select the blah 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 panel and choose some evidence that Inspector Hosonaga could use. So evidence that would give us a viable reason to investigate the next door cabin. So, alright, yes. I think I know what we can use. Alright. Is it this one? What's that? It's Kazuma's diary. Just before he died, Kazuma-sama wrote something rather strange in his diary. Strange? In what way? He wrote, what looks like some kind of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. A speckled band? That is strange. Yes, we're still trying to work out what he meant by that, but what I'd like to know is... Don't tell me. The ventilator, is it? You're very astute, Inspector. That ventilator clearly joins to the next cabin door. The next door cabin. That's right, so if we could investigate in there, we might be able to work out what that speckled band was. Alright then. I can't leave this cabin at the moment. I'm stuck here until we arrive at the next port. The captain has given me strict orders to guard the scene of the crime, you see. We'll have to entrust the investigation to you. Really? You're willing to do that? Yes, as long as you don't leave the first-class cabin area. I'm afraid I can't remove those handcuffs, though. But what about the captain? Aren't you going against his direct orders? I'm a man of my word. And I promise you that I'll lay my life on the line if that's what it takes to convince the captain. After all, I failed to keep Asogi-san safe. This is the least I can do. Thank you. Let's seize the moment then, Naruhodo-san. Just select blur and we can leave this cabin at last. Alright, time for me to finally take my first step on this journey. Next time on Great Ace Attorney. Adios, ciao, and bye-bye. Signing off until next time when we leave this room finally. Ja, mata ne.